Hi there everyone, FarmSimgamer here and welcome back to Riverside Farm. Now, an exciting week I guess for many, because Farming Simulator 22 was released or officially released on Monday, and we've probably seen a little bit of content from quite a few other sort of YouTubers over the weekend that had pre-release copies sort of from Friday onwards, so it's been good to see sort of some of their initial reaction. I have pre-ordered a copy, but I haven't had a chance to sort of play it too much, and did have a little bit of an issue kind of yesterday, where there was a patch I think that was released which caused the game kind of not to load up, but I'm looking forward to kind of getting stuck into the game. For those of you that are out there, let me know if you did pre-order it, if you've got a copy, if you started playing on it. What are your first impressions? Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of your gameplay so far. Now, just coming back to Riverside Farms. Now, you may remember that we finished up the episode last week kind of drilling a field of wheat into field 15 here. We've now put the rolls in here and are just getting the fertiliser state up to where it should be. We've also moved the drill over to field 11 as well, and that is also putting a crop of wheat in there. And our intention is for those fields 15 and 11 that we are going to forage harvest that rather than taking the crop for grain. So we've been kind of had quite a busy evening really after I left the last episode. We kind of worked late into the night here. You can see the drill just going in the background there with the Massey Ferguson and our Coughlin Jockey 6-metre drill. So they're busy working away during the course of the night time here, and as we progressed through the evening we also kind of had to tackle some of the weeds that came up in the fields as well, and we also went back and applied some lime to our fields as well, and we kind of did that a little bit of sort of back to front I guess, but I thought it was important just to get the field states as good as we possibly could do. So that kept us busy most of the night. I think we kind of finished up fairly late, about 12:30 in the morning, so we then kind of moved over to the following day and had a couple of our fields that were up and ready for harvesting. So the first field that we had to harvest was field 14. Now we had a crop of wheat in here. Now you may remember from the last episode that we didn't manage to catch the weeds in time, and if you haven't sort of picked up from previous episodes, we're trying to farm as organically as we possibly can on this series. So we are not using any herbicides, we're not using any kind of man-made liquid or mineral fertiliser, so we're relying on compost or manure or digestate from the BGA, or using our set of rolls to get the fertiliser state up and running and where it should be. So I'm not expecting the yield in this field to be particularly brilliant, but that's kind of by the by. We'll just get this harvest out of the way and then we'll be able to improve things from that point onwards. Now, as you can see, we also made a decision to windrow the straw as well. So we've got our 2 cattle sheds over in the farm. Don't have any cattle at the moment, but we will have in the future, so we need some straw for them. So we've got this field 14 with wheat, and then we've got field 17 that's got barley in it, so they're fairly close to the farm, so good opportunity for us to be able to take the straw from here and get it over to the farmyard fairly quickly and easily. So I did nip up to the shop and get myself a fairly cheap baler. This is a New Holland D1000 baler. I think it was only about £4,000. Anyway, we sort of leased it rather than purchased it, and I was going to get an auto sort of load bale trailer as well, but in the end I thought actually it might be kind of nicer to do the bale loading myself. So we've got a Marshall BC 32 flatbed bale trailer. We also got the Liebherr TL436 telehandler with a Spino or Spino T bale grab on the front. So it's been a little while since I've kind of done this manually, and the only other sort of problem that I did find is with the New Holland baler, and you can probably see the bale length itself is pretty big, and when I came to put the straps on the Marshall trailer here, for some reason they just wouldn't secure, they wouldn't fix in place. And I've got a funny feeling that might be down to this slightly odd bale size. But anyway, we managed to get them all loaded onto the trailer and back over to the farm kind of all okay. So that took us a little bit of time, and then we went off and harvested field 17 as well, and collected the straw from there. So that kind of kept us busy through until sort of mid-afternoon. Now we have got quite a few things that we need to do to try and progress things and develop the farm, and one of the things that I'm planning on doing is getting some of that digestate that we've got down at the BGA, which I think is about 600 630,000 litres. Get some of that sold, so the price that we can get for that is pretty good. So I think that's going to boost our budget by about 300,000 or 400,000. So I want to get a better combine harvester. The New Holland one that we've got at the moment was just a bit of a stopgap. So I want to kind of improve on that and get something a little bit better. It's not something too big, because some of the fields around here are not particularly large, and some of the little country lanes are not sort of ideal for getting big machinery down. And then I also want to get a forage harvester as well. So I need to spend a little bit of money. So we're going to sell some of that digestate so that we can sort of make a few purchases, or at least lease something that's a little bit better. Okay, so that's us all up to speed. We've got all our bales away in the shed there, so that's nice, about 40 of them. Combine's over there, I've given that a good wash down. And as I mentioned beforehand, it's very likely that we're going to sell that fairly quickly and replace it with something a little bit better. Rest of the equipment's back in the shed. I've kept the baler for the time being, but I think, again, it's probably likely that I will sell that because of the slightly odd bale size, not working with sort of an auto-load trailer, and I think that might cause us a few problems with other things in the future as well. Now, before I go and sell some of the digestate, the other thing that I also wanted to do is I'm going to put a manure bunker in just kind of along the line of trees there, sort of backing into the corner. I need some manure for our little kind of vegetable garden that we've got next to the house, and then I've also seen a very profitable greenhouse as well that's part of Alien Jim's stuff, so I'm going to put that up against the tree line there as well. Now, we will get manure from our cows in the future, but we haven't got anything in the cattle sheds at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase this small manure import easy. So this gives me the option to just sort of back trailers up to it and purchase directly from it rather than having to use a bucket or something like that. So I'm going to go and stick this down by that hedge line, like I said, sort of into the corner. Not 100% sure whether I'll face it out towards the cattle shed or sort of face it going down the line of the hedgerow there. I think that might stick out a little bit, sort of too much possibly, so I think I'll swivel it around a little bit and point it down in this sort of direction. Hopefully that with the greenhouse and everything, that should give me enough room to be able to get in there. I'm just going to line it up to the cattle shed as well there, so I'll drop that into the corner. I'll probably need to do a little bit of landscaping to tidy that up a little bit, but I think that will be absolutely fine. Now, the other item that I had seen, like I said, I'd sort of spotted as part of AJ Tech's Alien Jim stuff, these two sort of greenhouses, lemon and tomato greenhouse, only £18 a day in terms of upkeep, but they give out £500 an hour, so 12 grand a day in terms of income. So I thought that was pretty good. So I'm going to have one of those, and I'm going to stick that just kind of backing onto the trees here, down towards the centre. So I've got enough room to back a trailer in towards that manure bunker, and I'm going to stick that in there, which I think will be just perfect and should give me enough room to sort of get in and around the cattle sheds. So that's looking pretty good there, and again, likely that I'll need to do a little bit of tidying up, a little bit of landscaping. The trees are sticking through the glass there a little bit, but that's not too much of a problem. And as you can see, I've still got enough room there to be able to kind of back into that manure bunker and pick some of that up. So that's good. And I'll just tidy that up a little bit, and then I'm going to go and sort out a tanker or something suitable so I can start shifting some of this digestate. Now, whilst I was here, I thought I might as well just get a bit of water and manure to get these tomatoes sort of underway, so they're growing away nicely. I've only put a little bit of manure into the little kind of trough here. I wasn't quite sure how much it would take, so I'll need to top that up a little bit later. Okay, so it's time to get some of this digestate shifted. Now, I saw in the mod hub a kind of swap body mod that came with a man truck and then various kind of elements that you could kind of swap over. So I think the actual truck itself, as you'd imagine, is in here. So that's kind of part of the pack. And then in with tools as well. Let's go into trailers. Then there's a couple of... Let me see, this sort of the tandem 2 axles, 3 axles, they come with various sort of trailer units that go on the back, and then also the swap body tank, but that's 57,500, and oddly looks as though it takes all of those sorts of things. But in the animals section, There are 2 additional tanks, specifically this one, the extra XXL, and this smaller one. So I'm guessing that's the 2 kind of axle, the double axle, and this is the triple axle one, and a lot cheaper, 22,000, and that takes digestate. So I think I'm going to go and purchase, or not purchase, I'm going to lease. So let me get this one sorted out first. So I will just leave that as it is. £1,500. I'm going to lease that, and then I'm going to go into the animal section, and I'll go and get that larger tanker, that one there. Loading area, I've got no idea. Loading area, wood 2, screen printing pail, metal. Okay, not sure what that changed. I'll leave the... is there a capacity on here? Reflector, warning without. Okay, there we go, up to 31,000. So version 3. Okay, so I'll lease that. Not worried about the colour. And then hopefully I'll be able to go and pick those up from the shop with my Massey Ferguson and go down to the BGA and start transferring some of that digestate. Now, if I have a quick look at the prices, we'll just scroll along to where the digestate is. As you can see, we've got 621,000, a little bit over that, and a very nice price up at the farm shop of £2,244. Now, I'm probably going to try and sell about... I don't know, 200. Well, sort of 221,000, something like that. So it's going to take me quite a few trips, 7 or 8 trips up to the farm shop. But that should give us around about £400,000 worth of income. So that will then enable me to get a better combine, and then also sort out a forage harvester as well. So that's the plan for the rest of the afternoon. So I'm going to crack on with that. Right, well, I'm just getting these picked up at the shop here. So it's a fairly sort of decent sized tanker. It looks a little bit boring in the white colour, but I'm only leasing it, so that doesn't really kind of matter too much. But that blue metallic that was shown in the shop was really quite nice. So now you may have seen that there's not an awful lot of traffic around, and part of the reason for that is that they seem to have a bit of a pile up outside this junction right here, and the traffic ended up sort of backing up down the road and blocking the entrance to my farm. So I ended up having to sort of turn it off, which is a bit of a shame, but one of those things, I guess. So just didn't kind of need the aggravation, really. Right, I'm going to get to the BGA, back this up, get this filled up as well. Hopefully it won't take too long, and then we'll get up to the selling point, which is the farm shop, which is kind of up in the northeast sort of section of the map. And that's only one of 2 places where we can kind of sell the digestate, but it was a very good price, so hopefully we'll certainly be able to make quite a bit of money. And we've got 31,000 litres in here, a price of 2,244, I think it was, so that should get us around about £70,000. Now, we will be left with about 400,000 litres of digestate. Like I said, I'm going to kind of sell about 221,000, which will... hopefully that will earn us around about £490,000, something like that. Right, the selling point is the one that's behind us. I'm not 100% sure, actually. There's this sort of unloading bay that's kind of in the middle there. It seems a bit odd that I'm kind of putting digestate as a liquid into a sort of a grain pit here, but this is the selling point. But anyway, I'll maybe have to sort of test that unloading bay in one of the next loads. Right, so I've just come to the end of unloading. Let's see what price that's given us, 69,575. Yeah, so I've got about 6 or 7 more trips to do, so I'm going to crack on with that, and we'll see where we are with our budget once I've finished. Well, morning everybody. So my digestate exercise took a little bit of time last night. I had a bit of a problem with the tank as well. After about 2 or 3 loads, it wouldn't refill with digestate down at the biogas plant. It just wanted to fill up with water. So I ended up getting a field tanker, a holding tanker, to fill up with that, and then I could fill my tanker up from there. So the toing and froing backwards and forwards to the selling point took a little bit of time. But as you can see, we have now ended up with £697,000 in the bank, which is pretty good. And if I just take a quick look at where we are, so field-wise, we've got field 16 that's ready to harvest. We've got field 15 that is kind of ready to harvest, but I'm going to forage harvest that, as I mentioned, and then field 11 as well. And then just having a quick look at where we are. So with that digestate, we ended up with 393,000 left in our tank, and you can see that the price dropped a little bit during the course of taking it to the selling point. So we sort of lost a little bit of money out there, but in the end didn't end up sort of too badly, really. I put a bit of manure into our troughs here, not a huge amount, just a little bit to keep them going for the time being. So our little vegetable garden is kind of going away quite nicely. And my next task really is I'm going to get rid of that New Holland combine. Like I said, it was really just a quick stopgap to harvest our first sort of few fields. So I'm going to take this up to the shop and get something else so that we can harvest that field 16 of barley. Okay, so I'm up at the shop. I have sold off that New Holland combine header and header trailer. So time to look at getting something new. Now, I mentioned beforehand that I was quite keen to go down the CLAAS route. I do have the Platinum pack, but I also found this Lexion 650 and the 660, 670 on one of the websites as well. And I'm quite keen to kind of try the 660. So having had a look at this, if we look at it second hand, it's 232,000, which is kind of pretty reasonable. Quite like to try it with the crawler tracks as well, just to do something a little bit different. And I think when I was having a little look earlier as well, you can kind of change the design and add a logo on the side, which I kind of quite liked. I don't think I'm going to bother about upgrading to the 670 because that's just a horsepower change. I think the 660 is probably plenty good enough. So I'm going to purchase this, and then I also need to have a little look for a header, and I think I'm going to do something a little bit different, or something that I haven't kind of done before. And that's I've got the Cressoni Italian headers here, which don't need a header trailer. So this is the 7.2 meter version, and I can change this so that it has the CLAAS colour scheme on it. I don't think I need to change anything else on it. I think the design I can keep the same, and again, price-wise, it's sort of in keeping with the other regular headers as well. And of course, the beauty is that I don't need to worry about a header trailer, and don't need to sort of worry. I think this probably ends up being about the same width as the actual kind of combine when it's on the road. So from that point of view, it's pretty good. So I'm going to purchase that as well. I'll get both of these items picked up, and we will trundle off down to field 16 and get that barley harvested. Okay, so we're just coming up to field 16, which you can see over on the left-hand side there. And you can also see that the header here is not that much wider than the actual combine. You can't quite see the tracks, but it's only marginally wider than them, so pretty good. Right, I need to get this unfolded. I really like the animation on this, think it's great. And I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that these Cressoni headers exist in real life. I've never sort of seen one on any YouTube videos or anything else like that at all, but I'm assuming that they do exist, and it's not just something that somebody's kind of created specifically for FS19. Right, I just need to raise the reel up a little bit. The crop down here is fairly tall, so we'll shunt it up a little bit, and need to get the combine unfolded as well. Then we can get her fired up and start cutting this field of barley. Okay, so we're underway. And you can see over the hedge there our field of wheat. Now it's my intention, as I mentioned beforehand, to forage harvest that, but it has turned into its first sort of harvest state. And I think although you can still forage harvest when it's in that state, it's probably better to do it when it's still a little bit green and retaining a bit more moisture. But I don't think that'll be too much of a problem. So my intention is to forage harvest that field rather than just combine it traditionally for the grain. So that will kind of be one of our next tasks. Now we've made it round the field completely, just onto the bottom edge here, so I need to pull the tractor and trailer alongside and get this unloaded. So yeah, this is looking pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with this combine, and this is only the second CLAAS combine that I've ever used in FS19, so nice to be doing something a little bit different, and certainly a very popular combine in the UK, so you'll see quite a lot of these dotted around the country. Right, okay, I'm going to leave it there for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then it'd be great if you could do so. So thanks very much for watching. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, stay safe, take care, and I will catch you on Riverside Farms next time. Bye for now.